welcome to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here. Welcome back if you're joining us again. HRCYED 3.0 is coming up. It's starting on July the 7th, and I want to put together a non-specific TBR. A TBR that we can work off of. A TBR like a jumping board to the rest of my reads for the rest of the year and see where we go. It's not going to be a nailed down TBR. It's just going to be putting in some possibilities and that kind of stuff. Let's run through the prompts, what it all means. Qwordy has done such a good job. I will link her channel down below and the announcement video so that you can go check that out if you do not know what the hell I am talking about. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, HRCYED is the hardest reading challenge you will ever do. And I found out about it just before the beginning of HRCYED 2.0, which was like June last year. And then thought, oh my God, I so want to participate, and had very high hopes for myself that I would be able to finish. Unfortunately, that's not looking like it's going to be the case, but I do still want to participate in 3.0. And Qwordy's come up with some awesome prompts for this year, and I'm really excited to give it another go. She's also developed multiple ways that you can play. So there is a gamified version, there's the regular version, there's an I ain't got no time for that version, and then there is a kids version, which is just so cool. You can also get merch off of her Ko-fi store. I'm probably going to get some stickers, hopefully, and a bookmark if there was a bookmark. I'm undecided about the journal because I already had the idea of doing similar to my reading journal, just specifically for HRCYED, which will give me a whole heap more ability to adapt it how I want it and put in decorations as I go. So it's possible that I'll probably end up doing that, but I have it on my radar if I do want to. And if doing the creative side of the journaling isn't for you, then that's definitely a good way to have it all laid out for you and ready and easy to go. She has also got links to the spreadsheet and the website and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have a bit of a look at all of that now. We'll run through all the prompts. It's going to be easier just on my computer. So then I can add in what I'm thinking of reading as we go and just work it all through that way. So we're going to do that, I think. And I'll explain a little bit about each prompt, and then we'll have a look at how it works for me. Hopefully I can use a lot of these books behind me to get my reading done, but we'll see how we go. Okay, here we go. I am over by my computer. You may hear the cats playing in the background, so sorry about that. You also may hear a lot of rain. It is thunderstorming outside today. Hopefully it's not too distracting, and it is what it is. We're just going to have to continue on. You might even see the girls running up and down the hallway. But they have just been to the vet this morning, so they are going great. They had their last vaccinations as kittens, so all good. Let's get into 3.0. I've got lots to show you, lots to share. I have a warm drink because, as I said, the weather. But lots of planning. I have been trying to do a little bit of planning on my own. Any suggestions that you have that you want to leave down in the comments below, please do. If you haven't already checked it out, there is a story graph that you can join that we're going to have a look at mine and see what suggestions that they have in there for some of the prompts. I have been doing that a little bit. Some I've already allocated books that I want to read, so we'll go through some of them and then update the spreadsheet. I've also created some new graphics that I will show you on Canva. The first place you're probably going to want to go or have maybe already been is Qwordy's announcement video for 3.0. So like I said, I have linked this video down below, but in here in the description you will have all of the prompts, the links to sign it up, and the link to the official website. This is the official website here. It is super handy. It's going to be your go-to for all the information that you absolutely need. Like you see, we've got the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, 3.0, and then what it is. It's starting on July 7th. The original HRCYED came out in 2024. So this is the third iteration. The prompts have changed every time, which is awesome because it keeps it fresh and nice. But then there is some that allow you to go back and participate with some of the prompts from previous years if you didn't get a chance to do that already. Like I said earlier, there are 4 ways to play. We've got the no nonsense version, which is the one that I'm going to be doing. Ain't nobody got time for that version, the gamified version, and the kids version. And here's where you click to sign up, which I have already done. It will ask you for your email and that kind of stuff, and then it can send you emails of what you submitted. There is obviously a Discord community that you can join if you haven't already. It has everything in it. So you've got all your HRCYED 2 stuff here, but then down here you've got your HRCYED 3.0 as well. So the community over there is lovely and really helpful. So if you're stuck on a prompt, if you're a content creator, you can upload your videos, that kind of stuff, and share what you're in the middle of with HRCYED with everyone else doing HRCYED. It is just such a lovely place to be. Okay, let's run through it. Let's have a look at the bingo board. This is the new iteration of the bingo board. And then she has linked down here below the kids version, HRCYED 2 and HRCYED 1, because we will need those later on. When we get into it, I will show you why. So like I said, I have come up with my own graphic for my bingo board that I will use in my videos as we go through, and that's this one just here. So I'm in a bit of a green mood moment, and I liked the idea of being able to see how much I had completed percentage wise, and then the amount that I'd read over the 150 books that you possibly need to read to finish this. Now it's 150 if you aren't doubling up on prompts, which we can do. So it could be less than that by a fairly significant amount if you could double up a fair few books. I got this originally, I was using a graphic from Sarah from Freshly Read Reads, and it was lovely. And so I have just slightly adapted it to more my style this time at the moment, and made it a bit squarer because I was liking the squares. If you would like, I can include this as a link. I could figure out how, somehow, if you wanted to adapt this version. Or I know that Sarah, and I will link her channel down below, has also sent a Canva link for her graphics as well. And you can then change hers, which is where I started originally. Canva is great if you don't use Canva. It's definitely well worth looking at. There's a free version you can do a lot of on. I do pay for premium just so that I can use all the stuff, but it is very handy. Okay, once you are on this, there is this helpful links tab, and here you have the original Q&A stream, the announcement video, where to buy a merch from, and then this frequently asked questions document. Extremely handy. It'll go through the welcome and all the different iterations of what you could possibly hopefully have questions for with each prompt. So I will be referring to this a fair bit, I think. And here you also have the spreadsheet. So when you're downloading these, you're creating a copy of it. I have downloaded the individual prompt spreadsheet because I quite like the way that I can see all the prompts individually, but there is like an all-in-one spreadsheet where it has just one sheet with all the prompts on it. Up to you which obviously one you want. It looks like we're going to have quarterly submissions this time instead of just submitting whenever. I think that was a lot of work for them, so that will be interesting. And like I said, there is also the Storygraph challenges, which are extremely handy. So Azura has put together the Storygraph challenge, which you can see here. I've already joined, so this one you can see starts from the 7th to the 6th, which is the official dates, but it's been out for a little while. So if you were going to be starting from July 1st to June 30th, you can definitely do that as well. So Q's not fussed whether you start at the beginning or on her birthday. So what this does, it just allows you to keep track of how you're going with the prompts, but also if you're stuck on any, you can see what other people have uploaded for these prompts. So as you can see, I have started adding some of my books in here, but if I clicked on this choose your party heading, it will go in and it'll just give you a whole list of books that other people are using. So these are the ones that I possibly could use for this prompt, and then down below you've got all the other stuff that people think would work for this prompt as well. So really, really handy, and I do refer to this a lot. Sometimes though, there is some in here where I'm just like, that doesn't fit. I don't know why that prompt's in there, but it is very handy. If you aren't on Storygraph, I would highly recommend. It is a really good app for tracking your reads. Feel free to come follow me over on Storygraph as well. I always leave a link in my description of all my videos, so feel free to do that, and then we can just keep track of all the reads that we're all doing, which is a lot of fun. Alrighty, the spreadsheet, like I said, I did download it. in here, there is just a list of all the prompts, which I did end up printing off so that I have it in front of me. And then you can just get a little bit of an explanation if you've forgotten exactly what it's about. The tracker did originally come in orange. Like I said, I'm just in a green phase at the moment, so I have changed the coloring to green. If you wanted to do that as well, I'm pretty sure it was in format and then alternating colors. Yeah. And then you can just change them on the right here. Each one was slightly different with where the color options were. So some were a little bit harder to figure out than others. But this is just a tracker, so you can put in the title, the author, the month you've read it, and then this is all color coded within here as well. The page count, if it's a physical book, audio, which prompt you're going to use it for, the rating you've given it, the genre. There is a gazillion genres in there, which is insane. The status, whether it's a new or a reread, the intended audience, the format that you've read it in, so whether it's a novel, a novella, a short story, the way that you've read it, the series title, series status, whether it's new, in progress, or you've DNF'd it, the year you acquired it, if you wanted to just use this as a cool reading tracker for just general, the release year, the publisher, the color cover, country it's set in, if it is a country around the world. If it's a US state, she's got that. And if it's a non-Earth setting, which the majority of mine tend to be non-Earth settings, there's that as well. You can keep track of the price that you paid for the book if it's a new one to yours, and then the date that you started and finished it, and then it should adjust to the number of days it took you to read. Now, I just had a thought, let's just enter a date. I'm Australian, so I like my dates to be like the 1st of the 6th. Is it gonna do it till the 11th of the 6th? That's not working. I'm going to have to figure it out why that is not working. I think it's something to do with the country. Yeah, that's definitely not working. Okay, I think it's something to do up here. Now, if this happens to you, I did figure out a way to fix this last time. I did end up having to ask for help. I think it's in settings, and then I need to change this from United States to Australia, and then my time zone we will change over as well. I'm in Adelaide, so we're going to do that. We'll do save and reload. Hopefully this is working now. So if we go the 1st of the 6th 2026 to now it's gone the other way. That didn't work. We got it. All right. I don't know exactly. That was insane. So if we go 5th, 7th, 2026, that's better. Okay. So in the end, I had to highlight them and change it over to date as well and pop in the Australian in the settings. Okay. It's working. That was a very long-winded way. It won't be that long for you because I will have cut out all of that I just recorded of me trying to figure it out. Okay, but it is a handy thing to know that if you are from somewhere that is not America and you don't display your dates the way that they do, you will need to change that. Okay, we then have HRCYED stats. Again, I've changed the coloring, especially in the map. If you want to change the coloring, you need to go to edit chart and it will bring this thing up on the side. Here we go to customize and there's your colors. In some of these others, I had to actually have something in the series for me to be able to see all of the options here. So like to change that, all I did was come back over here, go to series, select one in each thing. And then when you come back over to HRCYED stats, you'll see you will start getting some of these pie charts. And then when you click on these 3 little dots here, you can go to edit and customize and pie slices, and then you can actually get your options up to edit them out. So long-winded way of how to change all the colors if you wanted to change the colors like I did. Otherwise, just stick with what it already is. I was just feeling a change. But the HRCYED stacks are really interesting, so you can see all the info of your journey around HRCYED. We then have the bingo board. So we've only got the 5 purple prompts this time. The purple prompts are the ones that are more adaptable to ourselves. So we're picking the white ones, the generic ones that don't change. You've just got to do whatever there is. We then have the log. So this is like pretty much what the single spreadsheet I think it will look like. You can type it in, click these little buttons, and then it's adding up. And there's this cool percentage tracker up the top, which is really cool. I think I will use that as well. And this is probably going to be how I figure out stuff for my other graphics. All right, let's get into the prompts and what I'm thinking. We've got, first off, choose your party. So in this one, we're doing a little bit of D&D inspired reading. So for D&D, there are 12 different kind of characters can have. We have a barbarian, a bard, a cleric, a druid, a fighter, a monk, a paladin, a ranger, a rogue, and then we have a sorcerer, which is magic innate, a warlock, which is magic bought, and a wizard, which is magic learned. So we need to just read a book with one of those different types of characters. So I do have a lot of options for this, like Bonesmith by Nikki Palpredo. I could read The Parade of Horribles, which is the 8th book of the Matt Dinnerman series. Dungeon Crawler Carl, he is a fighter type through and through. We've got On Wings of Blood, Bloodbound. Some of these, I don't know specifically what character type I have in these that would count. I just found them in Storygraph and they were on my want to read list. So these are just my potentials. We've got Bookshops in Bone Dust. She is an orc. She was a barbarian. We got Blood Over Brighthaven, Six of Crows. Paladin's Grace is a great one. Paladins in the title. Kings of the Wild, Turncloak, Forbidden Alchemy. I'm assuming there's some alchemists in there. Jade City, A Book of Night, Dragonfall, A Broken Blade, Gideon and the Ninth. So many options for this one that I could read and use as potential for this prompt. I think this one's going to be fairly easy to complete. All I need to do is have 5 different types. So if I go through, I'd go down, pick them off, have a paladin, a monk, a rogue, and then pop in the book titles that I've got. If you wanted to and you're playing with the dice roll, you can just click on here or out of there and it changes the dice every time you move it around. And then you can, depending on what dice roll you get, you have to then allocate the book accordingly. So whether it's a new author, a non-white author, disabled or uncommon, author protagonist, queer author story, self-published book, or your choice. And the your choice as well, you can play. So if you roll the dice twice, then you've got to merge the 2 prompts together. So that's kind of a little bit about the gamified version. Next up, we have the periodic table of elements. Now, this one, you have to have an element in the title. So all of the books that I already have on my list, most seem to be silver or iron. So we've got Silver in the Bone, the Iron King, A Kiss of Iron, Forging Silver into Stars, and Iron Widow. But I need 5 different elements. So we've got to head to the periodic table. Some elements are going to be a lot easier to find than others. So like gold, tin maybe, radium. I think I've seen a few people find one like that. Arsenic, copper would be easy, I think. And there is so many options in here for you to go through if you haven't already. So I think, again, I'll be able to do some from my physical TBR and what I already own. Others I might have to do a little bit of hunting for. But I think overall, this one's not going to be too hard, hopefully. We'll see. Then we have familial terms. We have to use a familial term in the title. So father, mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, daughter, son, stepfather, nephew, niece, grandfather, grandmother, cousin, sibling, stepbrother, stepsister, stepmother. So all of those kind of ones. This one, I think it's going to be hardish. One of the books that I was trying to finish off for Herk 2.0, which is not going to happen now, was Mother of Death and Dawn by Carissa Broadbent, which is the 3rd in the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. So I think that one's going to work perfectly for this. I didn't add it in here because I was planning to read it. So if I was going to add a prompt, I could search the ones below. So if I find one, it'll add it up here as a potential. And then as I read, it just highlights it off as done. But we've got The 13th Child, Children of Blood and Bone, Seek the Traitor's Son, and then Mother and Death of Dawn. Maybe it won't be as hard as I'm thinking, but we'll see. I think I might have to go outside my physical TBR a little bit for this one. For this, I have to read 5 books, a huge amount. We then have regional traipsing. So for this one, we need to look at regions around the world. So like Southwest Asia and North Africa, Mediterranean, South Asia, Latin America, Western Europe. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do for this one, and I'm not entirely sure that I have found any helpful prompts, but I'm gonna need to narrow it down to an area. And then that my problem is a lot of the books that I read aren't set on Earth because I read predominantly fantasy. They're not in an area specifically, so I might maybe look at where the author's from possibly could work. If I wanted to do some classics, I could maybe do like Europe that way. I'm not sure, so not super confident on what I'm going to do with this one. I think this one's going to be fairly hard for me. That one's going to take a little bit of thinking. We then have choose your curriculum. For this one, we need to read 5 books and go back to school pretty much. We're looking at like a book about math or science, English, history, home ec, music, physical education, shop. So I'm thinking that that means woodworking and that kind of stuff. Art, foreign language, social studies, physics, chemistry. It's been a while since I've been at school. For this one, I have put a few options in from just looking through here. So I have Half a Soul. I'm not entirely sure what this one's about. It is a witchy one, so I'm not super sure, but maybe for home ec it might have something to do with making. Mitchell's Guide to Magical Innkeeping might work. Forbidden Alchemy, The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. And again, I'm just gonna have to go through. There are a few romances I was looking at trying just to give a go. So like the STEM series that Ali Hazelwood does. Is it Ali Hazelwood? The Love Hypothesis and that kind of stuff. Is that the right person? Let's have a look. She'll be here somewhere. Oh, so like Ashley Poston, I could try her, which sounds like love. I have been wanting to branch out into trying a few of those really popular romance authors. So it is possible that could be one of the ones that I pop in. I think I'm going to have to look into this one in-depthly a fair bit. Any suggestions you have for any of these, please do leave me down below. Yeah, love theoretically, like that kind of thing. I think she's got a whole STEM series that might work for different areas possibly of the curriculum, but we'll see. So need 5 different, so music would be a good one, one about science, home ec, yeah, hopefully we'll get there. We then have to take a road trip, but we need to take a road trip wherever we are and avoid the major cities. So this is looking at where the book is set. So if we were to road trip around America, you're not allowed to use books that are set in New York or LA, or we'll guess from the tops of this thing, any California state. I haven't decided where I'm going to road trip. Again, I read a lot of fantasy that's not set on Earth, but I guess this could be something that I could maybe merge with my curriculum books and do it that way. If they're set in the UK, I can't use London. If they're set in Europe, I can't use the big cities, so like Paris and that kind of stuff. Again, there will be plenty of options in here. You've got 285 people have added options in here. So it's just picking your area and then going that way. We then have one called Bookception. For this one, we've only got to read 2 books, but I have to find a book that mentions another book in it and then read that book. I don't think got any options for this one yet. No, I haven't. You don't get a huge amount where fantasy books list other fantasy books, so hoping to maybe try, say, like Book Lovers by Emily Henry would be a good option. Something like that that's a little bit out of my comfort zone and mentions another book that I'm interested in reading and that actually exists, books, because I think there are some books where they mention books but they don't actually exist in real life, so I'll need to find one of them. But then going back to HRCYED 2.0, I did do HRCYED 2.0, but I didn't really do any of these secret prompts, so this is kind of handy. I have started adding in some options with this one. We have to read 12 different books for this one, so we have to read a book outside. I will not be reading a book outside in this weather, so that one's going to have to wait a while. And then whatever it is, I can put in there. We need to read one with a pun in the title, and with a hobby or craft on the front cover, or the protagonist had to be doing the craft, I think, but I'm probably going to go with just on the front cover. With the first and last name in the title. One that you missed from childhood. So I really want to read Winnie the Pooh, and I thought this year would be good considering it is the anniversary of Winnie the Pooh. So I think I'm going to try that one. We then have duplicate titles. So you technically only have to read one, but it has to be a book where there is another book with the same title. Oh, I think I put that in the wrong one. What was that one again? We then have I'll Get Around to It Later. So this is a book that you've been putting off, that you've had forever, you haven't read. One that you just have been procrastinating about. That one is one we got to read there. Not a childhood miss, because that's this one. For the childhood miss, it's a book that you haven't read from your childhood. That makes a lot more sense now. For Joseph's Coat, we've got to read a book that has one of the colours on the cover from Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, I think it is. There is an insane list of colours. Where is it? Red, yellow, green, brown, scarlet, black, ochre, peach, ruby, olive, violet, fawn, lilac, gold, chocolate, mauve, cream, crimson, yada, yada, yada. There is an insane number. I think that that one will be fairly easy to find a colour on a cover for. We then have to doom scroll our favourite social media and find a book and read it that way. A book with movement on the cover, that again should be fairly easy. A most recent acquisition, so I could do that whenever I wanted throughout the year. And then last name is a first name. So this is where the author's last name is also a first name. So like Rebecca Ross, Andrew Stewart, Abigail Owen, Sarah A. Parker. All of these options are ones that I just glanced at on my shelves that I could definitely use for that. We then move into cover styles. So for this one we need 4, but we need 4 different types of cover. So like a movie version, a cartoon version, like character art. There are a huge amount of options that we could use for this. I think this one's going to be fairly easy and I won't really need to go out of my way to find anything for this one. We then have titular counting. I am probably definitely saying that word wrong. For this one we need to read a book that has a 1-word title, a 2-word title, a 3-word title, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. For this one I have plenty of options. I think, look at like, especially the 1-word title, I don't think I'm going to have an issue. 2-word title I think is going to be fairly easy. It's when we get to the bigger numbers, I think I am going to start struggling. But then a lot of fantasy books do tend to have fairly decent numbered titles, I think. So the 10-word one I think is probably going to be the hardest. Like, how many books do you know that have a 10-word title? I think, again, I may have to go a little bit out of my own TBR for this one, but hopefully not too far. We then have characters become authors, or characters to authors. So what we have to do is find a book, and then from the main character's name in that book, find an author with that same name. And then from the characters in that book, then find an author with that name. They kind of all got to link together, but only 3. So that's going to be fairly fun. It'll be interesting. I don't know what book I'm going to find. I think whatever book I pick up, if I then find an author and just go that way and link them all together. I don't really have a starting book at the moment, so we'll see. We then have Shiratori, which is similar to characters to authors, but what we want to do in this one is take a book, and whatever the last letter of the title is then becomes the first letter of the next one, and then link 5 books together. So again, that's going to be fairly easy and just run together as I read, I think. So say we used Caraval by Stephanie Garber. We would then need a book that started with L. So the next one in that series is Legendary. So that one works just within the series, which is awesome. But then you need a book that started with Y, and then so on and so forth. All right, then we have what I think is going to probably be one of my hardest ones. It's the HRCYED mashup. So you need to take a prompt from HRCYED 1, which is just here, and then a prompt from HRCYED 2, and mash them together, and then find 5 books that work with that mashup. So what I'm thinking of at the moment is either using from, sorry, we've got a little helper, don't we? Hello. Yeah, I woke them up. Maybe from HRCYED 1 I could use the new release or Spell Your Name. I really like the A to Z challenge. 4-book series, Rainbow Challenge, the Genre Challenge, or a book for every season. And then I thought I could mash it with possibly either BIPOC authors, spooky creatures, the Even Bigger Rainbow, or Animals Are Better. The only thing I can't do is say like use the Rainbow Challenge from 1 and the Rainbow Challenge from 2. So if there is the same challenge in both, I can't put them together. And then I need 5 books that mash within that mashup. So some of these, so like a book for every season, there's only 4 seasons. So I don't know how I could do that, or unless I did like summer, autumn, winter, spring, and then like Halloween as like a, or Christmas as a season in and of itself, possibly. I don't know. I haven't had a good look in what that prompt, the background actually was. So that's where I'm thinking at the moment. I think that one would be a fairly good, and I like the idea of reading a book for a season. So I'm thinking that will definitely be my one from number 1, but we'll see how we go. Then we have numerical titles. This one, instead of having the word be the number, we need the number in the title. So I could use maybe Janet Ivanovich's 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, like their whole series has a number in it, so that would work really well. I have already read the first book in that series, so if I wanted to do that, I could probably use the whole series just for the 1 to 10. Oh, sorry. She just clicked on my keyboard. Hopefully that didn't do too much damage. We then have to use for number 11, any other number other than 1 through 10. So like 100, 1000th, 50, so just a different number in total completely. We then move on to rainbow titles. So this one's going to be fairly hard, I think. For this one, we've got the other girl now. Not that you can really tell them apart, but this is Raven. The other one we had a second ago was Lucy. For this one, we need to read a book with colour. Oh, you alright? Sorry. We have to read a book with a colour in the title. So I need to read like Red Rising or Priory of the Orange Tree. So the word itself has to be in the title. And some of these are going to be hard. I don't know that there are that many books that have purple in the title that I've ever seen. Gold should be fairly easy, silver will be easy, but really finding this one interesting, and it's a good change on like finding the color in the cover, I think. And then if I ended up using the rainbow challenges from the previous ones, I'm still doing that kind of color in the cover thing anyway. We then have animal families. So for this one, we're looking for animals on the cover. So we want different animals on the cover from different animal families. So like I could do a dog on one, and then a fish or a bird. Like, so different animal families. And I need to have 6 books, one with each different type of animal. I don't know that would be overly hard. I think that one should be fairly good. We then are doing landscapes and biomes. Again, these are on the cover, so images. There are so many different options, and she has given some examples in the beginning. So we've got like mountains, deserts, swamps, tropical, wetland, grassland, all those kind of things. Again, that'll just depend what I pick up, how easy it will. I might have to go outside for some of them, but we'll see. We then have a Riri remix. So for this one, we are looking at books that have been retold. So I think I'm pretty much going to have to start with a classic. I don't know, is there any way around that? So like something like Emma or Pride and Prejudice, and then You could read like Pride, Prejudice and Zombies, Bridget Jones's Diary, like all of those kind of things that it's been redone, where they've used this story and a character art. So it's the same individual story, but then like they've added magic, all that kind of stuff. The side character becomes the main character. So if you're doing Pride and Prejudice, you've got the other Bennet sister. I wrote Pride and Prejudice for Herk 2.0, so I'm not going to be able to use that one. Again, I'm going to need to find a different book and 4 other books that were remixed off of it. So I'm pretty sure you read the first one and then, yeah, like the changes and adaptations of it. That would be interesting. We then have the food pyramids. We then are looking at items on the front cover. We are allowed to use one beverage, but generally you're looking at like a protein on the cover, a dairy, a grain, healthy fats, like those from a food pyramid. And then I need to find them on the cover. I do have one book that I want to read for Buzzword. And I think that that'll work really well for this one. I'll just see if I put it in here. No, but it's, I do have it. So the Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. So there is a pie on the front of this one. There's cookies. So that kind of thing. I just need to find, but I think that one will work really well for this prompt. So I might use that. We then have Mother Nature. For this one, we're looking at different events of Mother Nature on the cover again. So like a thunderstorm or fog or a tornado, a hurricane, something like that. Really windy, cloudy, those kind of things. And I need 6 books for that one. We then have probably one of the hardest prompts. It's your birthday. Alrighty, and so this one is all about me. So I need my birthstone, which is an aquamarine. I am born in March. So it's a very pale, light blue. I think that would be fairly easy to find something either with that color or maybe even that gem on it. My birth month publication, so I need something that was released in March, so that's fairly easy. My zodiac, I am an Aries, so looking at things that are in that vein, so like Aries is a ram, they're very fiery personalities, so maybe I could go down that route. My Chinese zodiac is the pig, so I need something with a pig on it, or about a pig. We'll give that a go. My flower, I don't remember what my flower is. It's a daffodil or a jonquil, which is pretty much just another word for daffodil. I think the slight difference is that there are multiple flowers on the one stem instead of where a daffodil just has one. So I need to find a book about daffodils or with a daffodil on the cover. So we'll see how we go. My tree is an alder tree. I don't know a huge amount about alder trees. I'm going to have to look into that one. So any suggestions that you have, that would be great. I'm thinking Storograph might definitely, hopefully help me for this one. Let's see if I have looked into this at all. It would be very interesting actually what people have in here. I haven't really looked at much. Oh, Ash, Oak and Thorn would be cool if you were those ones. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to do a little bit of digging with that one. So if you have any suggestions for what you're planning on reading, if your birthday tree is the same as mine, please let me know. But yeah, so far stumped, but still looking. And then the meaning of my name. My full name is Catherine. It means pure, unsullied, clear. It's definitely an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do for that one. If your name is the same, maybe give me some suggestions because I would love them. We then move in to backlist author. This one I think is going to be really good for me because I've started so many authors and haven't necessarily read all of their backlist. I have a lot of Nora Roberts on my shelf. There are others where I have not gone back and read previous books like Stasia Stark. I could go back and read A Court This Cruel and Lovely, which I am definitely eager to read. So those kind of things. I think that one's going to be really easy. We then are playing Pokemon without playing Pokemon. So this title is I Must Endeavour to Acquire These Creatures. And we need to, similar with the D&D one, look at Pokemon types. So you have like steel type, normal type, grass type, water type, and then find a book that matches those different types. So we've got poison, ghost, like there's heaps. I don't know that this one's going to be that hard. Oh, bug, electric, fire, grass, dark, fairy, flying, normal, dragon, fighting, ghost, like will be good. So I can just pick one from any of these, and then I need 5 different ones. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and really actually looking forward to filling that one out. We then have an anthology of authors. So for this one, I need to find an anthology and then read 6 books from those authors in the anthology. I don't usually read a whole heap of anthologies, but I did grab, I'll just get them. Oh, I don't know if you can see them. You probably can't. I might try and zoom in on them if you can't, but they are snuggled up on my chair. How cute. I did pick up from work. Sorry, I've now stuffed my camera. A couple of books to help me out. And I do have a few more on the way. I picked up Of Shadows and Stars and Sabers, which is a fantasy sci-fi anthology, and then one called The Book of Dragons. So I'm hoping that within here will be authors that I want to read from or that I already have on my TBR, so then I can read one of these short stories and then read that. So we've got a decent amount of authors in these. I hopefully won't have any trouble finding one, but I don't know. I just thought I'd better start looking into that because I had no clue, because I don't usually read a whole heap of anthologies ever. I don't own any. Short stories aren't really my thing, so yeah, that one hopefully won't be as hard as I am currently thinking it's going to be, but then I do obviously have to read the anthology as well. And then we have, last but not least, second chances and hidden gems. So these are ones that obviously you again have put aside and you're giving a second chance. So something you can soft DNF'd, or something that has a fairly low rating, say on like Goodreads or Storygraph, and you're giving a chance to that becomes like a hidden gem. I didn't have a huge amount of luck with the hidden gem square in my fantasy bingo last year. I tried multiple books for that and really didn't like any of the ones that I did read, but you never know. Hopefully there is something on here that I can figure out, because I got to read 5 of them. So that one will be interesting. So that is HRCYED 3.0. Are you participating? What are you thinking you're going to read? I just love the community aspect of this challenge, and so much fun watching people's videos on what they're reading, what they're planning on reading, how they're going. I had so much fun with it last year, even though I haven't successfully finished. I do feel like I've got a decent chance of getting this one done this year. So really looking forward to starting, and can't wait to see everyone's content and what they're getting up to. Like I said multiple times through this video, if you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. All the help that I can get is always appreciated. I absolutely love talking to everyone about books, what they want to read, and just thank you in advance if you do leave me a suggestion. As always, I have linked down below my Goodreads, my Storygraph, and my Instagram if you would like to come over and follow me on any of those. Hopefully your reading is going good. Which version of HRCYED are you doing? I'd love to know as well. If you're doing the gamified one that ain't got no time for it, let me know. And I hope that wherever you are having a really wonderful day. And we'll see you next time. Bye.